Hello, hello. My name's Older. Welcome back to the channel. If you're tuning in the morning, evening, afternoon, whenever you happen to be here, thank you for showing up. Today, we're just going over some coronavirus updates, some good old Voldemort. Don't say the name, YouTube will get you. But yeah, just going over some things and wanted to come and talk and hang out with everybody today. And we're going to be talking about the upcoming vaccines, the different theories around what may be happening with them, and then later on we're going to get to a story about an apparent plague of rats that are taking over the nation. And yeah, we're gonna have some fun with it, guys. It's not gonna be not too bad, too serious. Like I always say, think for yourselves. Hey there, Lee. Thanks for joining us in the chat. Got tested and came back negative. Well, that is good to hear. Thank you for letting us all know, but rather catch it than get the vaccine. You know, it's like we said yesterday. We are all probably going to get it at one point or another, or this vaccine. But yeah, think for yourselves. This isn't something to make you afraid, fear monger, get you upset. It's just something to help bring to light the types of things that we all should be doing, right? And that's thinking for ourselves. So, without further ado, let's get into some of the stories that we have here today. So, I'm going to start off by saying this for a little context of what's going on. The vaccines, right? Things I trust more than vaccines from Bill Gates. As we know, Bill Gates is one of the founders behind the world's leading vaccines, and these ones we are trying out as well. So, a one night stand with Charlie Sheen. Yeah, I get it. Right? Pretty dangerous thing, if you ask me. Tap water from Flint, Michigan. There you go. An email from a Nigerian prince. I'd probably take that. I'll take it any day. A daycare run by Casey Anthony. That's, a little bit of dark humor. Gas station sushi. This one got me a little bit. Come on, guys. Gas station sushi? Not too bad. That's not so bad. Cocktails with Bill Cosby. We could all use a cocktail or two, no? But yeah, so let's jump into an article here. Let's jump into an article and see what's going on, what people are saying. This is coming out of the New York Times. It says more coronavirus vaccine efforts move towards human trial. Just 3 months after the start of the coronavirus pandemic, several biotech companies have shown promising vaccine programs and are beginning trials. Which is a good thing, right? Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Anti-vaxxers will say no. Pro-vaxxers will say yes. And then there will be a wide range of opinions in between. A vial of potential coronavirus Novavax, a biotech company in Rockville, I don't know where that is, where efforts are underway to develop a vaccine to fight the coronavirus. Yeah. So, as the coronavirus pandemic spreads at unprecedented rates, invading the lungs of people of all ages, ethnicities, and medical histories, more companies are ratcheting up their efforts to fight the disease with accelerating schedules for creating new vaccines. In normal circumstances, vaccine development would take around 10 years, but the pharmaceutical industry is racing to compress this time with the support of non-profit organizations, government agencies, and regulatory authorities. In just a few months, more than 24 companies have announced promising vaccine programs, speeding through the early stages of testing unlike ever before. Unlike ever before. Just crazy. On Wednesday, Novavax, a Maryland-based biotech company, so that's where it is, Maryland-based biotech company said its vaccine candidate had stimulated a powerful immune response in lab and animal experiments, producing antibodies that could fight off the coronavirus. The vaccine, called NVX-CoV2373, is set to begin human trials in Australia in mid-May. So still a little bit away, right? While a final product that would be widely available is still a year or more away. The Novavax effort is one of many ready to test in people. And so they're talking about a vaccine that could potentially come within a year. They're starting human trials in May, and they just said, right, they're speeding everything along. Everybody's there just pumping it through. And is that a good thing or is that a bad thing, right? Um, interesting theory. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure what to say about it. Like I'm not too sure if it's something that should be done like that. Like I don't know. It's hard to say, right? Should we be moving through so quickly and not properly testing these vaccines and running the risk of probably probably worse or potentially worse situations to individuals, or is it worth pumping out a vaccine and just getting it out there? I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but what I do know is that there's an opinion piece from MarketWatch that says this potential coronavirus vaccine could be as easy as sticking on a bandage. Now, no, you need real tests, right? People say that. No, this potential coronavirus could be as easy as sticking on a bandage, right? Instead of a shot, a small patch with hundreds of tiny needles that dissolve. Well, that does not sound as easy as sticking on a bandage to me. Um, let's continue to read. As labs around the world race to develop a vaccine, my colleagues and I are trying to find a better way to deliver it than just the standard cringe-inducing shot. I'm an immunologist and dermatologist, and my colleagues and I have been working on vaccines against the very related coronavirus that causes MERS and SARS. We were able to use the resources and the systems we had already developed to very rapidly create a vaccine candidate for this new SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus that we have tested in mice. So they've tested it, yada yada yada, band-aid with micro needles. That sounds crazy to me and scary. It sounds worse than just a normal needle. Like traditional vaccines, our vaccine uses a small piece of the virus as an antigen or target to stimulate the body's immune response to make antibodies that recognize and bind to the targets on the virus. In this case, the target is from the virus's S1 spike protein. This is the critical part of the virus that recognizes a protein receptor on our own human cells and works much like putting the virus's key in our own cell's lock. Once the spike protein attaches to our cells, it enables the virus to enter cells and cause the infection. Our team at the University of Pittsburgh hopes that the antibodies our patients make after receiving the vaccine will bind to this key and block it from fitting into the lock that would prevent the infection. So they're hoping that if they just give you a little bit, like, see, that's what I mean. When you're not a scientist and you don't fully understand everything, that sounds sounds crazy to me. You're just gonna give me a little bit of the disease and hope that that it's fine. Like, I don't know, but that's what it seems like. Let me know how you feel and how it's being explained to you. But that sounds kind of crazy, eh? A band-aid that has thousands of tiny needles that dissolve, other than just getting a shot. If it's a shot, I don't know. Either way, it's kind of out there for me. Shots and all. Lee, would you say there can't only one droplet infect someone? That's why masks aren't effective. I just don't even know. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what they're saying. I don't know if they even know. I don't think that they do. I think that it's all brand new and they're learning as they go. And that's why there isn't really any answers and it's all kind of conflicting. That's why we're doing these streams, just to make sure that we keep everybody updated and keep the idea of being vigilant and thinking for yourself on the forefront of everyone's mind. Because you can hear something today and it could be completely conflicting to the information that you hear the next day. Hey there, Joss. Yo, thanks for joining us. N95s are effective unless there is a high viral load. And I've also heard reports that there have been studies done between the blue hospital masks and N95 masks, and at the end of the flu season, it didn't help. There were no differences in the amounts of individuals that got it compared to not between the two masks within a health facility, and that being that just being a test. But conflicting reports, just like I just said. I'll pull up this something to think of. I just got a shot of a coronavirus vaccine. Hope it works. Yeah, I hope it does too. I'm taking part in a clinical trial that could help end the pandemic. So this person feels it sounds as though this person feels a little bit entitled, or they're like doing their good deed here. But, thank you to the people who are being guinea pigs, because I don't know, and I don't want to go out there and get it done, but I do want to know. I do want this vaccine to work and get there, right? So, what do they have to say? Seattle. At 10:16 Pacific Time, Wednesday morning, I received an injection in my left shoulder. It contained 250 micrograms of an experimental coronavirus vaccine, the first to be tested in humans. I am one of 45 volunteers taking part in a Phase 1 clinical trial that could help end this pandemic. I was sent home with a thermometer and diary and told to log my temperature and any symptoms that may arise. I'll still be following Washington State's stay home, stay healthy guidelines, but I'll also return to the clinic regularly for blood draws and a second injection. The research team will be looking to see that I remain in good health and whether my body produces antibodies. All told, this Phase 1 trial is scheduled to last 14 months. And so there are some people that are getting it, like this article is saying. This guy just got a shot of the coronavirus, but he's also part of the Phase 1 trial studies that are going on in different individuals, 45 people, and it's going to last 14 months, so none of us really have that option anytime soon. It'll take a few months to get the data to where we'll feel confident to go to Phase 2, Anthony S. Fassi, director of the National Institute of Allergies and Infectious Diseases, said at a news conference last week. At the clinic, I was told that it may take as little as 3 months to establish that the vaccine is safe for humans. I don't know. Short term, for sure. Perhaps. But they're doing it. They're seeing what's good. So, yeah, that's something else. Something to keep in mind. I don't know. So, clinical trials have started. People are moving into to trying this out for themselves, and a small group of people. Not everybody has this ability or this opportunity to take these vaccines, but they're seeing what is going to happen. What do you guys think? Do you think that this is smart? Would you ever submit yourself to a clinical study, a trial of something as serious as this, especially? And do you think that, I don't know, there have been lots of conspiracy theories around other situations when they were working out vaccines and pushing them onto foreign nations. Do you think that these circumstances are similar in any nature? That's what I'd like to know from you guys. What do you think about the vaccines? What do you think is going on? Do you think that it's a good idea, a bad idea? What do you think? What do you know? Let me know. Let me think. Pretty much that for that. I'm gonna bring up something that's not. It's serious, but it's not on the same level of that. So, okay, sorry, Joe. So you said not if it is live. Would rather catch it, right? I'd rather catch it than get the vaccine if I got I don't know. Well, you talked about this. It's one of those things. I'd rather catch it, but let's get into the story. Is a plague of rats following the coronavirus? Here's a question to ask yourself. Is a plague of rats following the coronavirus? As urban rats face a growing food scarcity, we ask an expert, what could that mean for your household? Are you going to have an infestation of rats? Are they going to be everywhere? That's the question. The closure of restaurants and bars, or the halting of the tourist industry, the lack of foot traffic in urban areas have had a severe impact on rat populations around the country. Rats have been they haven't been talking to anyone. They've been taken to the streets in packs, sometimes in daylight, emboldened by hunger. These are just like the story at a glance, what we're going to talk about here. Experts warn that the long-term effects of starvation on these survivalist creatures could mean an increase in aggravated behavior in the household and break-ins. So you could be having these rats breaking into your house, taking your food. You don't got to worry about starving people, you got to worry about starving rats. So, the need to survive. Whatever, we're just going. I'm not reading this whole story, but survivalist stress response. The long-term impacts of the food shortage on urban rat populations can result in three possibilities, and each one is independent of the other. Because of this, there's no generalization as to what the rats in New York City are going to do. It's block by block, and it's actually colony by colony. And so this is in large part happening in New York because obviously the mice and the rats are very active there because, as we know, they have a high density population, and with a high density population comes more garbage, and that brings more rats. And yeah, so what they're saying is you could be living in one area and there could be one group of rats that does something absolutely extreme, and then you could move to, well, you could be looking in another area 2 blocks away with a different colony of rats, and those rats may be doing something heinous. But we'll get into it. You say there, Major Mule, thanks for joining us in the chat. No way, experimental vaccines, especially if it's from Bill Gates. Stay safe, people. Yeah, don't do them. Or maybe do them. I don't know. What should you do? We're going to read about some rats. The rodentologist says that he's already seen several cases while walking around the park. Rats that have just been completely eviscerated by and consumed by others. They're eating each other already. The rats, they're already at the stage where we would be in years down, like a year down the road, where it's like Mad Max situation, past Mad, or beginnings of Mad Max. We're not there yet, but eating each other, like, that's ridiculous. Once the survivors realize there's no more food to be found in that area, they may also begin to disperse, traveling quite a distance of multiple miles within the matter of a couple days, in their hurried search for sustenance. These rats are hungry and they want their food. They'll try to find another spot where they can get some kind of food, and if they don't find that there, going to simply die. But the third possibility is that they start following their noses, which makes more sense. Like, they're not just gonna go somewhere and not find food and die. They're gonna be like, where's the food? Cities like New Orleans, with its popular French Quarter, typically swarm with tourists, are now seeing swarms of another kind. Emboldened by hunger, the city's rats have been taking to the now deserted streets in large packs in search of a bite to eat. We got a video here of rats. Rats taken to the streets. Right? Look at this. They're all over the place. They're looking for food. They want it. They need it. And these rats, they're coming for you. They won't stop. They won't stop until they get the food that they so desperately desire. Even if that means coming into your house, right? Hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your husbands. They're coming for everybody. I bet you haven't heard that in a year or two. Yeah, rats hanging out on the street. I guess that's what we're looking at. You see in like in Venice, all the clear water and the wildlife coming back into the water. And here in New York and New Orleans, you got rats coming out into the streets. That's okay. Everybody's different. Everyone's got their own wildlife. Love them in their own way. Yeah. What do you guys think of that? It's kind of weird, eh? How worried should we exactly be, according to this article from the Hill? Well, first, let's not try to panic, okay? Don't freak out. The rats are just here for a little bit. Corrigan emphasizes that while the rats can be carriers for a slew of diseases, he says, 55, he says, they don't harbor nor can they pass on rabies, which is fine. Okay, okay. The same can be said for COVID-19, though considering a tiger at the Bronx Zoo just tested positive for the virus, nothing can truly be ruled out. Like we just said, you don't know. We don't know. For now, take a look at how tight the infrastructure of your home is, whether that might be a single family house or a large apartment building, and how smart you're being about food waste. For apartment dwellers, he urges to not only check the premises of your building, of yourself, but also check within your landlord to inquire about the structure of the space, especially if the building is located next to an alley or by a sewer. So just like thoroughly check your surroundings, make sure that places are secured, airtight, and actually just you know just doing what it needs to be done. One of the scariest possibilities to consider is when it comes to rats invading your building may not be what first comes to mind. Them cutting off your access to television, rats gnaw on cables, and, in fact, it's been estimated that a whopping 26% of electrical cables break and 25% of fires of unknown origins in New York City are caused by rats. So, you do need to be vigilant, right? Because they eat everything. They could start a fire. They can also cut off your communication to the outside world, which is something that you do not want at this time. So yeah, vigilance about rats, 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 just taking over the city. Pretty interesting. You know, you shouldn't be too worried. I think that we can fight off rats. I think that we can figure it out as humans, as individuals. We got to make up some sort of crazy. If it's us against the rats, okay, we got this. What we're doing now. We're gonna take up a big, take arms and take arms against the rats, right? We're gonna figure it out. Make traps and stuff, I guess. Major Rule says rats are always around. Just now you can see them more. Maybe. No worries. And it's true. Maybe that is the case. Maybe they're always there, and now people are just realizing how disgusting the societies are that we live in. Um, is that the case? Is that the case? I don't know. But I thought that it was an interesting story to bring up, and I thought that it was something that would ease the tension after the vaccines because they're a little bit more in depth. But I don't know. I think that we all just need to stay vigilant and try to stay sane, right? Stay healthy and don't be afraid. That's the main thing. Don't be afraid. If you are sick, if you see someone that's sick at all during this time, just thinking about the future, don't worry yourself and don't freak out. Don't panic. Try to remain calm because some things are bigger. They're outside of your control, and you are not going to be able to change what you can't change. And so it's not as simple as just going along for the ride, but change the things that you have the ability to change, and take control of the things that you have the ability to have control over. But for the things that you don't let them get to you, and just keep on trucking. But yeah, this was an interesting stream, interesting stories. I want to know where you guys are all at. How do you feel about the vaccines? Do you think that that's something that you would ever get? Do you think that what was his name? Bill whatever, yeah, Bill Gates. You think he's a trustworthy individual? Do you would you be a part of the clinical studies, or do you think that that's a little bit sketchy or risky in itself? Also, are you afraid of these rats coming and invading your home? Is your home free of rats, or is it going to be free of rats? Are you able to hunker down and block them off? And if they do come in, are you ready to fight them off? Are you ready to join the human army against the rats with me? I will lead this army. I'm establishing myself now, designating myself as the leader. I will take stand, and we will get rid of all the rats. But let me know how you feel in the comments below and in the chat. I'll be around quite a bit because I'm going to be hunkering down, just quarantining now, just isolating, self-isolating, staying away from everybody, trying to stay healthy. And we'll be talking about all of that tomorrow. And so, that being said, my name's Elder. This is another episode, another piece of content on the channel. But as I always end off the stream, be your own hero, kids.